There's no sound.
There's sound. There's sound now. Is there a bee in your room?
No, I don't know why you said bees. You said
You
bees.
went,
I never said
right
bees.
before we went live.
Because I almost closed the chat window. I almost closed our
I
Google
thought maybe
Hangout.
a bee was trying to sting you.
No,
All right. You ready to do a show?
not to my knowledge.
Thank
Yes.
you for doing this.
Of
I want
course.
to publicly thank you on the live stream.
Do it.
All right. And Justin Robert Young is going to try to join us. We'll see if he makes it.
Okay.
Here we go. Make sure I'm recording. Okay.
You can help support the Daily Tech News Show by becoming a patron. Go to patreon.com/AceDetect or bit.ly/help DTNS.
This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, July 1st, 2014. I'm Tom Merritt. Justin Robert Young was supposed to join me today, but his flight got delayed. He is on the ground, speeding towards his studio in Oakland, California. But thankfully, Veronica Belmont exercised her superpowers to save us and has joined us for the show. Thank you, Veronica.
Of course, anytime, Tom. I'm always happy to play second fiddle to Justin Robert Young.
You were playing the part of Justin Robert Young, Veronica Belmont.
I don't have a beard. Damn. Looking
well,
around for a beard.
You could just...
Oh, wait!
Yeah? You have
talking.
something?
Keep talking.
All right.
Make this happen.
Folks who are watching live or listening live on Alpha Geek Radio know that we're doing this a little earlier today because so many folks here in the United States are wanting to watch the World Cups, so or the soccers or something. So that's happening, and we are doing the show a little early. What did you get a? I see what you're working on. Maybe we'll just go ahead and start on the headlines. Well, there we go. If you're watching the video, now it's Justin Robert Young. Time for the headlines. GigaOM reports Samsung announced the Galaxy S5 Mini Tuesday. The smaller version of the S5 has a 4.5-inch AMOLED screen that's 720p capable, a 1.4 gigahertz quad-core processor, although they don't say who makes it, 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, and a micro SD card slot. Those specs in some points are a touch below the bigger S5, but the Mini does come with the waterproofing, the heart rate monitor, the fingerprint scanner, and the Galaxy Gear compatibility that the big version has. Goes on sale in 4 colors starting in Russia in July and will expand to global markets afterwards.
TechCrunch reports Microsoft has increased security for OneDrive and Outlook.com. Outlook.com now supports TLS, which keeps email encrypted as long as the receiving email service also supports TLS. Both Outlook.com and OneDrive now support perfect forward secrecy encryption as well, which helps mitigate damage if a secret key is compromised.
Well, these companies starting to get more security-minded. That is a positive out of all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Gadget reports GE is bringing smartphone-controlled light bulbs to life, taking on the dominance of Philips with some new bulbs called Link. The bulbs require a $30 hub to operate, but then the bulbs themselves are only $15 to $25 each, depending on what model you need. Compare that to LifeX bulbs, which run $100 each, although they don't need a hub. Philips' new Lux bulbs, which are $40 each. Even the affordable Insteon bulbs still cost you $30. Link bulbs are controlled through the Wink app, which is made by Quirky, and they say they should last about 23 years or so. Home Depot's taking pre-orders for the bulbs today, and they'll ship this autumn.
Ooh, I want in on that.
You should buy some.
I like those bulbs. Computer World passes along that DARPA has set the date for the final stage of its 3-phase robotics challenge to be held June 5th and 6th, 2015 in Pomona, California. 11 teams will compete for a $2 million prize, though DARPA expects the number of entrants to increase. The first 2 phases involve demonstrating software for autonomous e-tasks like walking, using tools, climbing, and driving. In the finals, the robots will face a full-scale disaster situation and have to use a series of ladders, doors, cars, and valves to handle that situation.
You know what they'll need for that?
What's that?
Robot arms.
Robot arms. Robot arms.
TechCrunch reports that the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration has made its ongoing efforts to upload content to Wikimedia Commons a core part of its purpose. They're going to get serious about this now. NARA uploaded 100,000 images in 2012 as a test. 4,000 Wikipedia articles featuring NARA records received more than 1 billion page views in 2013, so they're calling it a success. The uploads range from mundane federal agency records and stuff to World War II photos and even presidential portraits.
Ooh.
Of all the presidents.
Should I leave this beard? Should I try a different? Is this beard? No. Oh, no, that's bad.
The other one's more jury-like, I think.
Okay.
Time for some news from you. These are submitted at our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Thanks to folks for getting in there and posting things, voting them up, voting them down. Get into that subreddit if you haven't had a chance. It's a good way of keeping up on other things that we don't have time to get to, as well as helping us decide what's going to go into the lineup each day. MacBites posted the Verge article giving a few more details on Keurig's coffee pod DRM scheme. Key patents on Keurig's pods expired in 2012, leading to third-party pods being made, which Keurig didn't like because Keurig makes most of its money selling pods, not machines. It's that loss leader model. The new brewer going on sale this autumn, however, will scan pods for special markings that they have based on anti-counterfeiting technology used by the U.S. Mint. It's essentially DRM for coffee. It's also going to make your old Keurig machines much more valuable because it's the old ones that can read the third-party cheap pods.
I don't. This is so awful, and those things are so wasteful too. It is just like you use them, don't you?
I don't. No, I have an AeroPress and a good old-fashioned drip coffee maker.
All right, good man. I appreciate that. All right, moving on. Robodashi has the Mashable story that the United States Food and Drug Administration has approved Rewalk Robotics personal exoskeleton for marketing in the U.S. The 46-pound robotic legs support their own weight, plus a 220-pound user who wears a 5-pound backpack. A wrist device with physical buttons controls the device, and the battery is designed to support a full day of intermittent walking. But if the wearer walks nonstop, the battery will last 3 to 4 hours. Users have to be between 5'3" and 6'3", and the device costs $69,500 and is not covered by insurance in the U.S.
That's still an amazing advancement. It could do sit, stand, or walk, any of the three positions. And if you watch the video, I mean, it's basically for people in wheelchairs. They still have to use some canes, but they can actually get around and walk around.
It's interesting. This is very similar to an exoskeleton design that is being used by the United States military that enables soldiers to travel much further distances and be able to carry a lot of stuff. So we're seeing a lot of different kinds of uses for this style of exoskeleton. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, very cool. SP Sheridan submitted the Ars Technica story about noip.com going down after Microsoft seized 22 domains it claimed were being abused in malware-related crimes. This was based on a federal order, so it was legal. Millions of legitimate servers, however, rely on noip for dynamic domain name services, including our very own Alpha Geek Radio, which had to go directly to management yesterday because the noip addresses he was using for some admin tables went away. As well as millions of others legitimate users went away. Now, Microsoft claimed that no-IP domains were used 93% of the time by Bladabindi and Jenksys malware, and Microsoft said the operator of no-IP, Defendant VitalWorks, did not take sufficient steps to address the abuse, and so that's how they got the federal order to seize the domain.
Is Alpha Geek Radio going to be okay?
Alpha Geek Radio's fine. He's adapted very quickly. It was an inconvenience more than anything, but it does bring up the question, like, well, if you're harming legitimate users here, I guess the idea is Microsoft saying, well, you shouldn't be on this service because this service supports malware, but that's easy to say. It's, if you're not doing malware, it's not harming you.
Yeah. All right, well, moving on, TJ Burbank sent in this story from Daily Dot about PayPal freezing the account of crowd-funded Proton Mail. The Proton Mail project wants to make an easy email encryption tool. A PayPal representative said it was not sure if Proton Mail was legal. Apparently, PayPal figured it out as the account was restored late this afternoon, or this morning, rather. PayPal, in a following statement, claimed a technical problem this week resulted in PayPal applying restrictions to the account. Right. Proton Mail says it will not rely on PayPal for donations until it's assured there will not be a repeat of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Somebody decided that they didn't think Proton Mail was legal. They thought it was shady or something. Because Proton Mail said they were told that they weren't that they needed to show a license to use the encryption, and Proton Mail is like, you don't need a license to use encryption. That's ridiculous. So somebody inside PayPal, this is my theory, somebody inside PayPal did something, and then when this all started to go public, PayPal was like, oh, technical problem.
No, that was a technical problem. That was not I mean, you said it wasn't a technical problem. It's like a total about face. It's pretty ridiculous. But hopefully they'll be able to continue on without further issues. There's other ways of getting donations out outside of PayPal, though they do make it pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm a supporter of Proton Mail. I want them to succeed because as many different people we have working on making easy end-to-end decryption for email, the better. And Outlook.com doing their TLS support is great. So let's have everybody doing it. And that's a look at the headlines. Of course, because Veronica's on, I want to mention that she and I worked very hard to put together the Sword and Laser Anthology, which you can now buy in multiple places. There's a print version and an ebook version. We solicited nearly 1,000 stories from our audience at the Sword and Laser podcast and picked 10 sci-fi, 10 fantasy stories to put in this book. We then ran it. We thought the stories were pretty good, but we ran it by Pat Rothfuss, and even Patrick Rothfuss thought it was good.
5-star review on Goodreads from Patrick Rothfuss.
I know. So if you're into science fiction and fantasy, you might enjoy it. Check it out, swordandlaser.com/store, if you want to get a little more information about it. Thanks to our discussion topic, to Melchizedek74, who submitted it on the subreddit, although legitimately I found out about it through a text message from our producer, Jenny Josephson, yesterday, right before Cord Killers. Community. Are you a fan of Community, Veronica?
I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I have seen the show, and I've always enjoyed it, but I'm not a regular viewer.
Well, you shouldn't get hate for that.
A regular viewer.
You're not saying it's a bad show or that you've never seen it. You're saying that you're not, like, leading the charge for 6 seasons in a movie.
No, I mean, maybe at some point I'll go back and watch the whole series. But yeah, I wasn't keeping up with it, and then I just fell behind, and so yeah, I'm not one of those Community fanatics.
Well, and I think that's an interesting way to approach this, because the Community fanatics are just going to be excited, right? They're getting a 6th season of Community from Yahoo. Even though NBC canceled it, and even though discussions with Hulu broke down, Yahoo waded in at the last minute. Apparently, the contracts with the cast would have expired yesterday if they hadn't renewed the show. So it was a last-minute effort. Dan Harmon, who created Community and will be working on it for Sony Pictures Television on this 6th season, said, "I am very pleased that Community will be returning for its predestined 6th season on Yahoo. I look forward to bringing our beloved NBC sitcom to a larger audience by moving it online. I vow to dominate our new competition. Rest easy, Big Bang Theory. Look out, Bang Bus."
All right. I'm excited about this because we are really seeing a big shift in how we are able to watch television. And I didn't tell you this yet, but we're cutting the cord when we move next week. At least we're going to see how it goes. We haven't done this before, obviously.
You're abandoning the cord.
We're abandoning the cord.
You're leaving the cord
behind. We're leaving
behind.
it behind in this apartment
Nice.
and not bringing it to the new house. So I'm going to be looking to you and Brian for a lot of help through this process, of course, but I am a Hulu subscriber, I'm a Netflix user, so I feel like most of my shows will be in pretty good shape, but I think, this is very interesting that Yahoo's doing this because a lot of different companies are getting into this model right now, and I think it's good for content creators, I think it's good for users, and I think it's going to be, it's really going to put traditional television through its paces.
Now, lest you think Yahoo is just starting out with Community, they've had other series in the past. Jenny pointed out that Burning Love was a scripted comedy from Ken Marino that did pretty well on Yahoo and is actually running on E! On regular TV now. They also have, in 2015, 2 8-episode seasons of a sci-fi comedy called Other Space, from Paul Feig of Freaks and Geeks and Bridesmaids fame, and Sin City Saints from Brian Gordon, who directed The Office, and executive producer Mike Tollin, about a Silicon Valley tycoon who buys a basketball team in Las Vegas. So they were into this, and they've got talented people working on original programming, but snagging Community is a coup, don't you think?
Well, it's a big one because it was something that was on television, and now it's moving to a web model, which is, or not a web model, but it's moving completely to the web. I can't think of another show that has done that 100%. Is there something
Arrested Development is the closest thing, where
yeah,
it was canceled
totally.
for several years, and they brought it back. This is the first time I know of where somebody has gone the other direction immediately, right? You got canceled, and then the next season, you're back, but you're on the web.
I think it's a very cool way to do this, and hopefully, other shows will follow suit if it's beneficial for them, if they're having trouble staying on the networks.
I think this is really part of a bigger trend. What?
Justin's here.
Ah, well, hello, Justin Robert Young. You
He's
finally
wrapped in
made
the American flag. How did he even do that?
Oh, like America herself. I have arrived from the airport.
Oh, my beard was pretty
Fantastic,
close
man.
to yours, actually.
You actually got here
Bringing
about
the
6
point.
minutes earlier than I thought you would.
Yes, no, there was some hilariously dangerous driving
From other people,
One and-
obviously. Yeah.
over the Bay Bridge. But I'm here.
Well, so we're talking about the resurgence of Community now that it's been renewed for a 6th season on Yahoo.
Yeah.
And Veronica and I both are the same. We enjoy Community. We've watched it. We like it. We're not the rabid fans who've been petitioning for it to be renewed. Where do
Sure.
you stand?
I'm not. I mean, I've watched the first season. I like it. All right. It's not my favorite show in the world. I think what's interesting about the deal for Community with Yahoo is that it seems. I mean, if you're going to read the tea leaves in the negotiations, that this was going to be a loss leader for anybody who took it. This wasn't like where Netflix could say, yeah, Arrested Development might not, the new season might not do great, but if it gets people to watch more of the back catalog of Arrested Development, then it's worth it. For Yahoo Screen, has it been announced whether or not they get the back catalog as well, or is that still with Hulu?
I haven't seen anything about the back catalog. No, and
Yeah.
I imagine NBC has some rights over that.
But if all right, so if we haven't seen that, then that means that there's a chance that they don't have it. And if they don't have it, then they're literally just going to go in cold with their only Community offering being this new season. That's a huge gamble for Yahoo. But at the same time, if it puts them on the map for this kind of content, maybe it's worth it. I mean, I think there's a reason why it took the deal this long to get made.
It'll probably perform better than a lot of their other online offerings. Like compared to the Dan Marino show, like it sounded like that went pretty well for them. But Community, something that has an existing fan base already and is already very popular, amidst the internet crowd. I think it could do pretty well for them, comparatively speaking, to the other titles they've had, the original titles they've had so far.
Yeah, Community is available on Netflix, and I think it's available on Amazon Instant Prime. So it could be part of the deal to say, hey, we want to be able.
You would figure it would have to be.
Oh, it's available on Amazon Instant Video if you buy it. It's not. It doesn't seem to be able to go in the free streaming. But yeah, so Netflix may have those rights tied up, or they might not. It would be in Sony Pictures Television's interest to set Yahoo Screen up for success, though.
Well, sure, but you got to wonder why Hulu didn't do it and why Netflix didn't do it, because this is their thing. Their thing is to bring back stuff and then leverage existing content, and they didn't. I mean, the upside of this is that never has a show been revived that I feel like you would have the legitimate sense that this might be among their best seasons. Like, even when Arrested Development came back, we were hoping it was good, but nobody expected it to be as good as it was, considering the limitations they had. The Community, why not? Dan Harmon is a guy who seems to be hitting a creative stride and, a personality that would want to shove it in the face of his former employer. So,
and you're getting the season 5 cast back. You're not getting Chevy Chase, and you're not getting Glover. It doesn't sound like, but you aren't having to work around a bunch of things.
Is he not on the show anymore?
Not in season 5, no.
Oh, I didn't know that. This is how little I actually pay attention to this show.
Well, the rapper now.
Yeah, he is a rapper now.
And to bring it to your point about why Hulu didn't end up getting the negotiation, it's possible they got outbid by Yahoo.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I think if there was anything that made them switch, I mean, Marissa's got a lot to prove with this initiative. She said she was going to do a lot in making Yahoo a destination, especially an entertainment portal. And I think they haven't done a lot there so far that's been, really at the forefront of our we haven't noticed it as much as we probably should have. And now they have this big title, this big ensemble cast, this very popular show with people who are online. And I think it'll be a win for them. And they must have had deep pockets on this project, because like you said, I can't really figure out why else Dan Harmon and this crew would go to Yahoo, which is kind of untested, versus a Netflix, which is obviously had a ton of success with this kind of thing.
And that's probably the only way that they can make the budget work. There's a level that, I mean, very probably going to want to take, or willing to take X amount of a pay cut, but no one's going to be working for free. They're all successful actors. So if the Hulu or Netflix negotiations, which I mean, to follow the trade press, got far, there was the rumor that it was going to go to Hulu, it was going to go to Netflix, and there was kind of this mystery third bidder that we now find out to be Yahoo, who actually does the deal. You have to. I mean, normally these deals are all about money. So it's like if Hulu and Netflix wanted to make a new season, but not at the budget that they wanted, then that's why they're on Hulu now.
Now, the bigger question here, though, is this the beginning of the rise of the independent online network? The reason Netflix got into House of Cards and the reason they got into Arrested Development and even Hemlock Grove and Orange is the New Black is because they were having a hard time dealing with the existing television networks. HBO didn't want to have anything to do with them. They were seeing the fees rise for back catalog, and they said, well, we might as well spend some money making stuff that we get all of the viewers on, at least for the first couple seasons. And to me, my theory has been, as the broadcasters hoard their content and don't come up with easy ways to watch their things online, as they give 28-day delays and they make you authenticate with a cable provider and all of this sort of thing, you are going to see good original content arise that you can get without having to have a cable subscription. And this is huge. Yahoo Screen just became a player by having this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. But that, I mean, like, I don't know if we're queuing up a show from 3 years ago. Like, yeah, of course, this is the rise of the online network. House of Cards proved that. Like you said, I mean, this was the question is this, like, I think for Netflix, what's interesting about this particular negotiation is that Netflix already has a deal with Dan Harmon and Mitch Hurwitz for their next show. They have a development deal with those guys, so they want to be in bed with these content creators to make new shows and not necessarily leverage the old shows with the old deals. But the fact that there are more players means more money, higher budgets, and greater creative freedom. That's how these kind of burgeoning entertainment markets work, and Yahoo just added another vector to it.
When HBO started to do original content in the late 80s, Fraggle Rock era, it took a long time to pull people away from the main broadcast networks. In fact, it's only been in the last 10 years that you see the rise of the AMCs and the FXs become the home of quality, and the broadcast networks start to look second tier. Is it going to be the same thing where these Netflix, Yahoo Screen, Microsoft, Sony, all these folks making original content will slowly rise with great stuff, but will continue to have our typical old cable system slowly moving into an online arena?
Well, it's like in the new stage right now, they get to take a lot of chances and they get to be creative in ways that perhaps these content creators weren't able to be creative on the traditional network routes. And I don't think HBO or Showtime or any of the other smaller companies like that, like FX, like you mentioned, have really suffered from becoming too popular and kind of going the way of the networks. But maybe if the internet stuff starts moving in that direction, having to cater to advertisers more, having to kind of stop taking those chances that initially made them stand out, maybe it could kind of balance out again. I don't know.
What do you think, Jerry? How long is this going to take, or is this just a third way of watching stuff, and it's actually not going to push away?
The only thing that I think is, I don't think that things die in the way that we have kind of thought of them in the last 5 years, because it's far more likely that a lot of these channels kind of become uncoupled offerings for our for our internet consumption entertainment in a way that we haven't really thought of it at this point. The majority of stuff that I watch now that I got this new rig that I'm broadcasting on, I watch a lot of TV and stuff just here on like one of the monitors, and all of it is streaming. All of it is authenticated, and it goes channel by channel. It really is the a la carte kind of model that we have wanted to. Granted, I pay for everything, so the payment element we still have to work out, but the idea of going to one channel and watching exactly what I want from that offering through their website is a reality, and I think that going forward, we're going to see more of that, and not necessarily like, oh, well, FX dies so Yahoo Screen can live.
I just want to see a more affordable way of getting just the networks I want. And I don't even mean unbundling the way people talk about with cable where I can do a la carte. I just mean I want a package that's like, hey, we know you like FX, AMC, HBO, and I don't know, throw another network in there. Get a pass for that. And I think that we might be able to see stuff like that happen.
Well, I guess the question is I mean, they already have that on cable, but it just
no, but it's the packages aren't that specific.
You like
right?
Yeah.
Sports, so here's the 4 soccer networks that give to you only if you pay an extra $7 a month.
Right. Well, I think in the end the consumers are going to win out of all of this because what we're seeing is more choice and more competition despite the efforts to wall things in. It would be if iTunes hadn't come along, instead of having DRM-free music become the revolution, suddenly like iTunes started to be a label and compete. It'd be interesting to see how things would have played out that way. Take a look at the calendar real quick. Today in 1984, Neuromancer by William Gibson was published. The cyberpunk novel would go on to win the Hugo, the Nebula, and the Philip K. Dick Awards. The book is credited with popularizing the term cyberspace and laying out a blueprint for what the World Wide Web would become. Incredibly influential book. It's also the 35th anniversary of the Walkman as well.
Oh.
So lots of birthdays today. T-Mobile is launching Nokia's Lumia 635. That's essentially the Lumia 630, but with LTE, for $99 up front. That's the total cost, or you can pay it off at $7 per month. You can get it on the Home Shopping Network, speaking of old media, on July 5th. Or if you can wait, order it online July 9th, or it'll come to stores, T-Mobile stores July 16th, and I think Metro PCS stores July 18th. It is the first Windows Phone to ship with Windows Phone 8.1 on it right out of the box. You don't have to update it.
Hey, I have been on HSN, okay? It is still kind of cool. Not
Were
really.
you a
sorry.
product?
Yes, I was for sale.
Was it like a task
dialed.
thing?
Low price.
Only 4 installments.
4 installments.
Veronica will come to your house and podcast. Order now.
For you. Whatever you want to talk about. Let's podcast. Let's do a podcast.
Our pick of the day comes from our producer, Jenny, and her pick is the Saturday Night Live archive on Yahoo Screen. Now, disclaimer, Jenny did work for Yahoo's video department not too long ago.
Bias!
And then that ended. Yet she still wants to recommend the incredibly deep bench of archival Saturday Night Live clips that you can find on Yahoo Screen, including ones you don't see online due to music rights. Things like Will Ferrell's Cowbell sketch, as well as Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze's legendary dance-off in the Chippendale sketch. You can get those there at Yahoo Screen. The archive also includes older, deeply subversive clips like Buck Henry's Uncle Roy and the legendary face-off between Chevy Chase and Richard Pryor, known as Word Association. Enjoy the rest of your day, people.
Dead honky.
All our picks are at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. And a couple of messages of the day. Do you guys see about the Facebook emotional manipulation study? We talked about that yesterday.
Man, I'll tell you what.
Makes you laugh, huh, Belmont?
Oh, I can laugh about it now, can't we, now that I'm over my crippling depression from looking at my Facebook feed?
It's like, we have this problem here at Facebook where people think that we're like coldly manipulative and way too much influence in the modern American and worldwide citizen's life. I know what we'll do. Let's emotionally bring them on a roller coaster by way of an algorithm.
One of the things we talked about with Don Reisinger yesterday was informed consent and whether the actual terms of service served as informed consent by saying, hey, you agree to research, it's there in the TOS, which there's some debate about whether those terms of service were actually in effect during the term of this study. But Dave, the pissed off psychologist, writes, I am really quite upset about this Facebook research study, not about the work itself, which seems quite clever, but about the ethics. I can tell you that there was no informed consent here. People have to be told what will happen in a given experiment. They can be told these things in broad strokes, but they have to be told. These are standard ethical rules for work with human subjects. I'm pretty familiar with these rules, what with my work as a research psychologist, and I have chaired ethics boards at 2 universities, and I co-wrote the ethics guidelines for our university, Algoma, and the Memorial University of Newfoundland, where I used to work. Informed consent means that the average person can read a consent form and understand it. It means that you tell the person about any possible risks, and messing with emotions is a risk. The language in a EULA would never pass an REB. Secondly, subjects have to be free to withdraw from a study at any time. Well, as they did not even know they were in the study, how in the hell could they withdraw? This kind of crap gives my profession a bad name. It gives the science I study a bad name. And, well, before I get angry, happy Canada Day and happy NHL Free Agent Day.
So is this one of those things where, I haven't read about this extensively, so correct me if I'm wrong, is this where we basically signed away our rights just by signing the initial terms of service for joining Facebook? Is it under that umbrella? What?
We don't even know whether that was in place, right? Like, we don't know.
Well, yeah, Forbes has pointed out a link that seems to imply that those terms of service weren't put in place till May 2012, and the study actually happened in January 2012. But just for pretend's sake, let's say those terms of service were in place. Does a term of service, does the EULA saying, oh, by the way, we'll be doing some research and stuff, is that what Dave's saying is that's not informed consent? Mm-hmm. Just saying you'll do some research and stuff doesn't give you these other parts of informed consent, like being able to withdraw from the study.
Yeah, and that also kind of implies, to me at least, that they would be using existing data, not manipulating that data or trying to change it in any way in order for the study to work properly. You know what I mean? Like taking existing data as it already exists, not.
I've seen some people argue that they could have done the same study by just taking existing data without changing the news feed. Mm-hmm. And apparently what they were approved for by their ethic board was that, taking existing data. And they tried to get around it by saying, well, Facebook changed the news feed, not us.
I mean, there is a disconnect, and I think that the three of us being around the tech field for a certain amount of time, or especially living out in the Bay Area, you meet a lot of the big, beautiful engineering brains that make all the websites that we know and love and rely upon. But I kind of feel like at some point you just need to have Ed, the regular human, for whom like these big plans are just told, and he can just say, no! That's ridiculous.
Instead of a consulting detective.
Mark Wahlberg, what? No. Like, you can't do that. Like, it's going to look weird. People are going to think that you're weird for doing it. It's just that there's a human touch that is missing from stories like this that tends to give sites like Facebook and Google in the past has really gotten tarred and feather with this. I think rightfully so. This machine kind of exterior that, well, yeah, it's just data. Well, we made you sad by way of an algorithm. I don't see the problem in this.
Well, and actually, they didn't even make people that sad. And I think the research itself is fine, right?
Robot.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is they've used that as a defense, and I don't know that the research was in fact dangerous. I think that we could have an overreaction, but I don't think that excuses them from not informing people that it was happening.
Mm-hmm. I may have opted in. Who knows? Maybe people would have offered to help out with the, maybe we could try to do some fancy new Facebook features if we opt in, or I don't know. Like, I'm an open book. Manipulate my emotions. I don't care, Facebook. Just let me know what's happening. For science.
All right, we got a voicemail from Ken here, who has a cunning plan to help us in the wake of the Aereo defeat.
Hey, Tom and crew. Ken in wonderful Dallas, actually Garland. I'm reading here that Philmon is now saying that because of the Aereo ruling, that they must be considered a cable company also, and therefore the Copyright Act of '76 means that the networks have to sell them their signals at a fair price. My thought is, what if Netflix decides to do that? I think that takes cord cutting to a whole new level. What do you think? Thanks for the great show. Bye-bye.
Ken, I wish I could say that is brilliant, because on your end it is. The problem is that Philmon saying we're a cable company and you have to sell us a license doesn't really hold any legal water, I don't think. I can't just say, I'm rebroadcasting television channels, so you have to let me pay you for them. That's just not the way it works. Sadly. I wish it did. If we did, we'd see a bunch of internet companies already that were providing television service. But the broadcast networks themselves have to approve of you carrying their signal. And there's not like a legal way. So I think Philmon's going to get taken apart in court again. Well, that is it for this episode of Daily Tech News Show. Justin Robert Young, thank you for rushing back from the airport. I really appreciate that.
Oh, I'll tell you what, this is the first smile I've had today that began with me getting to the airport and them telling me that my flight was delayed 10 hours and the quickest way I could get to San Francisco was by going to Houston and getting back here with seconds to spare. But if you ever wondered literally how fast it would take one to land, the plane physically lands and get back to your house from SFO to Oakland, the answer is an hour and 5 minutes.
There you go. Brilliant. Research done for you, people.
And you didn't even consent, dear listener, like Facebook. I'm just giving you this data, baby.
Yeah, Justin didn't manipulate your emotions
Hell
for that.
no.
Nightattack.tv. If you want to follow Night Attack with Justin Robert Young and Brian Brushwood, FSLTonight.com. If you want to follow me and Justin doing science fiction and fantasy teams playing sports, just go look at it.
It's fun.
Anything else coming up you want to let folks know about?
I think, all three of us getting together in Utah in 48 hours or so, having a great time out there at Nerdtacular. So if you are out there, then stop by and say hello to all three of us.
If you happen to be at the Snowbird Ski Resort,
which TV Zugan apparently is. He was giving me.
There's people already there.
Yeah, they are.
Man, that Scott Johnson character, he's like his own little Grateful Dead. Like people have just been camping out, waiting for him to make his appearance. It's going to be an amazing time.
They call him John Sons. Deadheads.
I don't get it.
Johnson.
I don't get that
Scott
joke.
Johnson. Sons of John. Anyway, swordandlaser.com is where you can find Veronica and I. Twitter.com/Veronica is where you can find Veronica. And you've got published.
I am officially a published fiction writer. I am in the Anthology, Help Fund My Robot Army, edited by John Joseph Adams, and that is on sale on Amazon right now. So there's a ton of awesome authors also involved, like Scott Sigler and Bradley Beaulieu, he's Neil Lafferty, Beaulieu, Shannon McGuire, tons of Michael J. Sullivan, so like Daniel H. Wilson, tons of people who I really respect. I don't know how I got in there, so just go check it out.
That's amazing. I'm buying it.
My story is called Cat Assassins.
Of course it is. I can't wait to read this, by the way. So go check it out. Help Fund My Robot Army. Buy it with one click. Do it. Do it!
Go now.
That is it for us, but thank you, 4,176 patrons. You are amazing. You make the show happen. You are our boss. We love you. bit.ly/helpdtns if you'd like to know more. That's patreon.com/acedetect. Both those URLs work. And it's July 1st, so thanks for the paycheck. It keeps the show on the internets, and we are truly, truly thankful that you're willing to give us 5 cents a day, 5 cents a show, $1 a month. All of you pulling together are making this show happen. Don't forget you have a voice in what stories we cover at our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. You can email us feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Give us a call, leave us voicemail like we had today, 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. And you can listen to the show live at mobile.alphageekradio.com. Our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. That very same Scott Johnson of the Frog Pants Network will be here tomorrow to preview Nerdtacular. Talk to you then.
About this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.
Oh, I did it in the wrong order. There we go.
Hello.
Hello.
I can't believe we just had a discussion about the return of Community with 3 people who are just like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, Community. Okay.
I know.
I'm not saying it was okay. I actually really, really like Community, but I am not going to pretend like I'm the fanboy who knows like all the episodes.
Fanboy who knows all the episodes.
I know. But I almost think that's a better perspective.
Yes, I know. You're right.
Maybe.
Take it from the tech angle, but yet still, imagine if this had been happening when Freaks and Geeks went off the air, when Firefly went off the air. Like, imagine all the great TV we could have seen in this world if this model had existed.
Yeah, totally.
Well, the bigger difference is to me what would have happened with Arrested Development if this were a thing when Arrested Development first went off the air compared to what it came back as. Because we can all agree, as big of Arrested Development fans as any of us might be, that it was the Pet Cemetery version of Arrested Development that arose from the grave so many years later, and not the well-oiled machine that we had loved before. So this will be closer to that, and I think we're still waiting for the first great comedy internet-only show, and I don't know if Community will ever be considered that. But I mean, I think it could take a step in the right direction if this season is, let's say, critically received better than the last couple seasons.
Having some experience at that company that picked up
Bias.
Community, yeah, right. I think that it really was more about Yahoo than it was per se about Community. It was about Yahoo saying, we are going to save stuff you like, and then also we are not going to wreck things you like Tumblr. Like, we're going to get Tumblr, we're going to give it lots of money, but we're not going to wreck it like we did in the past, maybe with like 800 other things you loved. This is sort of like a credibility building exercise for Yahoo, which says, we'll be the people. Like, if you think about how much money it takes to produce a TV show versus how much money it takes to buy an Instagram or a Flickr or a Tumblr, it's pretty cheap. So if you're talking about what it costs to buy quality content instead of building because look, Yahoo's been building their own content since Yahoo Music. They were live streaming music. They have had incredible content. Nobody's paid any attention. I created a lot of it. I'm sorry, I created a very small percentage of it. But it meant a lot to me. That's what I meant to say. But the idea that you can create all this content and it doesn't really resonate that you're a content company, this is the way they're going to try to do it. It's big names, real fast, big impact. So we'll see.
Well, but the long tail on a new episode or a new season of Community isn't anything. I mean, the reason why if you buy or build a website like a Tumblr or an Instagram or something like that is because it could theoretically its best days would be in front of it. The biggest that the new season of Community will ever be is the day that it launches, or the week that it launches, and then at that point it'll be whatever it is. But I agree with you. This is Yahoo putting their staff in the ground, Gandalf style, and saying, "You shall not pass us, because we've got great entertainment."
Yep. And I think the other critical difference is that with Yahoo, there still is no way. There is a way for tech-savvy people to sit down and watch their computer on the television. There is maybe not a way for the middle ground of Community fans to easily watch Yahoo. I mean, unless, they're savvy enough to have a Chrome.
Yahoo Screen has an app on Apple TV.
Okay. So they are at least on Apple TV.
That's
and they have a Yahoo connected TV that
I think there's a Yahoo Screen app on Roku, too. But
yeah.
I'm less sure.
So they have to get with that part of the program, because taking the audience from a sit down on your couch and watch it and shifting them over to what Yahoo's audience is, which is frankly very still huge on the desktop, let alone mobile. It's a big shift, and it's funny because the Venn diagram of people who look at Yahoo and people who are still sitting on the couch and watching cord connected TV is a pretty decent overlap. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think this is about Yahoo wanting to get people used to Yahoo Screen being like Netflix and Hulu. They want to encourage people to build those habits of finding out, oh, that app is on my Apple TV. I've ignored it until now. So this is really Yahoo splashing out to get people to realize they exist in that way.
Well, and the difference between Community and, let's say, something like Cougar Town, right, which was a comedy that a lot of people liked and wound up going to TBS in a second life, is that Community had a huge Hulu following. And you have to figure that anybody in the internet space that was looking at, oh, well, let's pick up this show, had to it began and end with their Hulu numbers, because if that's not there, I don't know if Yahoo wants to just light a bunch of money on fire. And I do think a lot of this is them going to be lighting a bunch of money on fire. I don't think that this is going to be a loss leader for them. That it makes sense unless you're going to get the bang for your buck of people watching.
Why are you wearing an American flag?
Because I have one in my car. and I came in and I figured that would be fun if I
I was
had.
hoping you'd be like you were naked underneath it.
it's
or,
Canada
that would've been
Day.
Funnier. I know it's Canada Day.
So he
Man.
needs to express his United Statesness.
Yeah, stick it to the Canadians, why don't you?
USA over those waffle making kooks
Belgians?
over there in Belgium.
Would you like some titles?
Sure. Levelator's taken forever, so
Okay.
I'm like.
Well, we can
chugging
chew
along
on
here,
the
but
titles.
yes,
There are
please.
some good ones. So we have Algorithmic Roller Coaster, which I didn't catch the reference to for some reason.
I think that's Facebook.
Yeah, we have Yahoomity, spelled Yahoo, M-I-T-Y, but we also have Yamunity, which is spelled Y-A-M-M-U-N-I-T-Y.
I like that one better.
Yeah, we have Manipulate Me for Science. And then we have, I kind of like this one from Toby Pinder, Community Demands, Yahoo Answers.
Mm.
I mean, that has some class. But probably Yamunity is shorter.
Does the panel prefer one?
I defer to the possibly bearded Belmont.
I'm not bearded anymore. I debearded. Can you not see me? You don't have your TV
No,
up?
I know. Well, I sporadically bearded Belmont then.
Oh,
Intermittent.
I am partial to things I say, but Yahoomity sounds like immunity to me for some reason.
Yeah.
Like
it's
immunity
a
rather than community.
Immunity from cancellation, perhaps.
Maybe.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know.
She doesn't know.
The sensible choice is Community Demands Yahoo Answers.
Yeah.
That's good SEO.
Yep.
It doesn't offend anyone. It's clever.
Yep. It's Toby
It is
Pinder.
Okay.
Toby Pinder has a proven track record
Yep.
as a title suggester.
I like it.
Wait,
Alright.
let me do a quick. I'm going to Google it and make sure.
Okay, good idea.
Again, do we have anything on the schedule next for Diamond Club?
No, in fact, it's usually Daily Tech News Show at
okay.
1:30. So
Oh, I might do a little Let's Play.
yeah, you should.
I got
You should
some
play
time to kill.
FIFA during
Yeah.
the
Cool.
USA show.
That'd be bad. I saw
USA
Hunter
game.
Pence just went live on Twitch, so that got me thinking.
Oh, forget it. You're not doing anything. You're watching Hunter Pence, aren't you?
He's playing Hearthstone.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you see that? You guys all read American Gods, obviously, right?
Yes. We read
Okay.
it for Sword and Laser.
Right.
did.
So, Starz Channel picked up the development of it when the HBO passed.
Mhm.
So it's not dead yet.
Oh, good.
Gives me hope for that other major, massive series that nobody can seem to.
My only problem with that is, did that just get announced? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. My only problem with that is Starz has not had a great track record itself.
I think that
Like
you know.
they picked up Torchwood and
But you watched whatchamacallit, the one with Kelsey Grammer, the mob, when he was the mayor of Chicago and he just
Yeah, I
yelled
didn't
at
watch
people
that.
a lot. It was pretty good for at least a season. And the Outlander series that everybody's frothing about, I will admit that I've read, and I'm pretty excited for that too. It looks good production-wise, at least.
I
yeah,
love.
we've been covering the Outlander thing on Sword and Laser.
Yeah,
love
I
that.
adore that.
What's it
series.
called? Spartacus. That first season, I didn't watch the second after the one dude died. Spartacus died, but I love that first season. There's a
Yeah.
lot of swords and boobs and wieners and all sorts of crazy stuff.
That's
lasers.
Cable. You have just described Cable.
No, it was outlandish even for cable. Like it was boundary pushing on many levels.
All right.
And you got to see Lucy Lawless in American.
You know what? She wasn't an American before. She is one now.
She's lawless.
Yep.
Nobody puts Lucy in a citizenship corner.
Mhm.
Oh. She's lawless. Tom.
What's the thing?
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to take a shower.
All right.
Then watch.
Yeah.
Soccer.
I'm going to call up Brian Brushwood, my new neighbor.
Oh, wait, why? What? Why? What?
Hmm?
in LA.
What do you mean?
Marina.
He's not moving there.
Yeah, for a couple
LA
months.
for the summer for a very
He's summering in LA.
Oh. he doing a thing?
There's a vacation in the works.
Yeah. It's very
An episodic
relaxing.
vacation.
vacation.
I
The
see.
system he's using for his vacation is very episodic.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys in Utah then.
I will
When
see
you get out there,
you
when do
on
you
the
leave?
aeroplane.
Oh, wait, are you on my flight?
Wait, no, I'm not. I'll
No,
see you
not
at the
this flight.
airport. I won't see you on the airplane. When
What?
do you get in,
What?
Jenny?
I get in at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
I get in at. Oh, right. I meet you at the Utah airport, Tom.
Yes.
Oh, I
correct.
forgot to rent a car.
I thought you were
hope
doing
that
that.
car never went through. All right, I have to rent the car.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Wait, when are you guys getting in?
I'm getting in at 10:30 a.m. and Tom's
Oh,
getting
good
in at
God.
like 11. What?
I don't know. I just felt like saying.
When are you getting in?
On Thursday.
I accidentally done goofed and booked my flight for Friday, but I can
Wait.
move it up.
Are you flying in again to try to be on our show again?
No, I will be there on Thursday, but I'll be there Thursday night because we have to leave after like Ashley doesn't, so we don't burn a vacation day for Ashley. So
Okay, so you'll be in late Thursday night.
I'll
or
be in
Friday.
Thursday night. Yeah,
Okay.
like around 8 o'clock.
So
Or something.
don't
Yeah,
have to
okay.
worry about you being on a plane.
No,
Okay.
no more plane. I'm swearing off planes. I'm done with
Yeah.
them.
Good
Okay.
luck with that.
Yeah. All right, folks. I'll see you.
All right,
Thank
I'm gonna go
you.
rent a car.
Thank you guys for being patient. Bye.
Bye.
All right, we're stopping the broadcast. Bye, video folks. Enjoy the
Bye.
World Cup.